Welcome, everybody. I'm Joe from the Game House. Today we'll be doing a Detroit Lions 2025 NFL mock draft. The Lions are up in our 2025 NFL mock draft series here at the Game House. We'll be doing a mock draft for every NFL team once before free agency and then once after free agency to give a better picture of what these teams might look like next season. We'll be using the NFL mock draft database simulator. I like it because it meshes big boards from across the internet together to make their own big boards. And we'll also be rejecting all trades to keep it as realistic as possible. So the Lions got close to another Super Bowl, but couldn't quite get there again. Looking for different pieces to put them over the top. We'll want to get back to the NFC Championship game like they did 2 years ago. And they're going to need maybe some edge, maybe some defensive line, interior offensive lineman, a possible another receiver. But their defense is already pretty good. Their offense is pretty solid as well. So, I think at this point, I think corner could be in consideration as well. Meek Robertson's on one side, Terry Arnold's on the other. Jahdae Barron had a pretty good combine. He's versatile to play around the secondary. So I would be thinking about him here. I might end up being the pick. I think that could really help that secondary out. I'm gonna take him. Uh, really impressed at the NFL Combine with his workout. Could be a guy who is very, very good. A lot of people have him as a top 10 player in this class. So at that rate, I think you take that position, even if it's not the biggest need. All right, the next one up, we have pick number 60. I think they would like to get an edge here. You can get an interior offensive lineman in free agency or later in the draft, to be honest. Landon Jackson could be in consideration. He had a pretty good combine. I didn't really see that on tape though. So we'll get Prince Umanmielen out of Ole Miss. He started his career at Florida. A guy who I think is pretty athletic, and upped his production this past year at Ole Miss. And I think that could be good for that defense to get another rusher across from Aiden Hutchinson. And now we can kind of focus on some of the other needs here because I think the defensive line class is pretty deep. So you could get some impact players in round three, round four, round five, if not fixing that in free agency. You can also get a guard at this point or later as well. Let's see here. This is tough. I was recommending a bunch of guys I don't really see happening. Dylan Sampson, I don't think they're going another running back. Tez Johnson did not run a fast 40. He's very small. Cam Scattaboo, again, they already have running backs. Quinn Ewers, I don't think they're going another quarterback. So with that being said, I'll go Demetrius Knight, the linebacker out of South Carolina. I think he's a value here, pick 101. Can definitely help you play special teams, can help that linebacker room. They haven't used a lot of very high picks on linebackers. Yes, they have Jack Campbell, but I think keeping that linebacker room fresh would be very important. And here's where we're kind of talking about you could get some of these defensive linemen. You could get some of the guards. I'm going to go Jared Wilson, the guard out of Georgia. Georgia has a lot of athletic guards, interior linemen, I should say, in this draft class, and getting one of them, I think, could be good to develop. Behind their starters, probably not going to start Jared Wilson from day one, but still good to get him and develop him. You can still improve the interior offensive line in free agency. You can still improve the defensive line in free agency, and that's what I think is going to be important for them to do. All right, with the next one, we'll go Elijah Roberts, the defensive lineman out of SMU. He's picking up a lot of steam lately. A little bit of a tweener, could be an edge, could be a defensive lineman. I think he could end up being a defensive lineman that is going to be very productive in the NFL. So I think taking him at this point and letting him develop will be very, very wise by the Detroit Lions. Next pickup, trying to take a position we haven't taken so far yet. We'll go Kyle Williams, the wide receiver out of Washington State. Now, he didn't get a lot of publicity being at Washington State this year, especially as they didn't really have a conference this year. But he was a very, very good player, and I think he deserves recognition maybe in the later rounds of the draft. And then pick 230. Let's go with the Iowa tight end, Luke Lachey, a guy who people forgot about because he got injured, and then this combine looked pretty good for him. So I think it could be good to get another tight end to put in that tight end room. Next one up, getting a running back this late probably is a good idea. Kyle Nungai didn't test that well. Quill Mullings, limited experience as a running back. Could also double up on some of these other positions like edge. Let's take K'Von Rucker, the edge out of North Carolina. A guy who pretty productive at North Carolina, and I think at this rate in the draft, get some depth for your edge rushers there. All right, so let's go back through this draft to kind of go over what we got. We have Jahdae Barron at pick number 28. He's been a very popular pick in these mock drafts because he falls for some reason. But I think anyone, if he's possibly a top 10 player on some people's boards, I think you have to kind of consider him a pick number 28. Princely Umanmielen out of Ole Miss. He is an edge rusher who started his career at Florida and had an uptick in production this year at Ole Miss. Demetrius Knight, the linebacker out of South Carolina. Jared Wilson, the interior offensive lineman out of Georgia. Elijah Roberts, the defensive lineman out of SMU. Kyle Williams, the wide receiver out of Washington State. Luke Lachey, the tight end out of Iowa. And Kamon Rucker, the edge out of North Carolina. Let me know what you think of this mock draft down in the comments below. We'll be doing more mock drafts for every NFL team before the 2025 NFL draft. For now, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.